The recording started. This conference is being recorded. All callers are muted and they can unmute themselves. All callers are unmuted.
What you do that for?
All callers are muted and they can unmute themselves.
I don't know what I know I got them on the phone, so see what's happening here. Okay. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Turn that. Pardon me. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just. I greet all of you who hunger and thirst for righteousness. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. I want to give those who have a disagreement with anything that we have taught, I want to give you the opportunity to express it. This is the place to do that. You may press *6 on your phone, and I will be more than happy to engage you in a back and forth. We We always hear people talk about arguments, the term argument. But most people don't understand that arguments are not people insulting each other. We call people insulting each other arguments. Those are not arguments. The scriptures refer to the term argument. It says invite. It tells me to invite people to the path of Allah and argue with them in the best manner. The scriptural definition of argument is a substantive back and forth conversation with truth. And it says on the outside are dogs. You watch two dogs when they are growling and going on at each other. That's not arguing. That's two animals trying to put fear in each other. And we were misled concerning what an argument is. If you don't have a fact, if you don't have truth that condemns what a person is saying or doing, then you have no argument. It's just that simple. Do you understand? All right. Where's Brother Dawood? Anybody heard from him? Okay. So I want you to rise above slavery. It is a necessity if you want to enslave a people. You must first produce in them an ignorant mind. Look at the word ignorant. Now, as you look at the word ignorant, I remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught me. He said, why do we love the devil? He was talking about, why do they love the devil, this so-called Negro? Because he gives them nothing. Even had them sing a song that I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. But they never really understood what was meant by that. took me some time to understand what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad meant by nothing. What makes you ignore a person that's talking to you about something that you may be doing or your lifestyle or whatever, and you tune them out? People tune you out, you know. You know, we used to call it shining you on. You know, in other words, that light that you think you sharing with them, they getting out the way of it and letting it go on about its business. Because they ain't. Uh, um, what is the root word of ignorant? Ignore. Ignorance. So as you go about your life ignoring advice, that's one of the reasons why you and I were able to be made tools and slaves to white people for 400 years, 460 some years, counting still. And because we were filled with knowledge that we thought was something that would help us, when it was basically knowledge that was keeping us divided and keeping us from being able to unite and help ourselves. And even in the way that we were indoctrinated into sport and play in this world, they, you always have a star. You know, and everybody would like to be the star. That's what the ones who play the game get out of it. The one who has a box at the owners, where they sit in an enclosed box, they don't sit out there with the rest of the people. And they observe the lesson in creating a star and letting everybody root for the star, because the star pulls the crowd. If you don't have one, it's easy to create one if you own all of the teams. I mean, it's but anyway, but you remember even remember Robert De Niro played the part of Al Capone in uh, The Untouchables, yeah. And he was standing up talking about baseball before he bust a man's skull open. But he told them this: the team. Remember, it's a teamwork. One man can't be all over the field. You got to have a team. Do you understand? Even in the uh, most people, they never paid any attention to the um, what you call the sting. But the sting was all about a whole group of people, a team of people, pretending to be a race at a race uh, bookie joint, and everybody in there was acting. And there was only one person in there that thought it was real, and that was the one they was been sticky to. You see, they gave you and me uh, supposedly knowledge, which was supposed to empower us. And we don't have no more power right now in relationship relative to what white people have than we had when we was in knowing that we was enslaved. Now you enslaved and don't know you enslaved. You haven't even thought about that. I brought it to your attention, but it just, you shine me on. The same man who sets the price of things is the same man that pays your salary. You think it's an accident that we work from check to check? Most of us, even when we get some millions of dollars, if he give it to us, he know we don't know what to do with it. Just because somebody give you an airplane, don't all of a sudden you don't know how to fly. You can have all the airplanes in the world, but they ain't gonna do you no good if you can't fly them. And you can have all the money in the world, and it ain't gonna do you no good if you don't know what to do with it. And so they gave us knowledge that seemed like something, like a man giving you selling a foolish person a, I think it's called pyrite. If it's not, you tell me what it is. It's called fool's gold. It looks like gold. And you go pay him and think you beating him out of something when he knew what he was selling you in the first place. He knew that that mine wasn't worth nothing. It just looked like he was giving you something. It's just like when you look at the knowledge that you have. Knowledge is supposed to empower people. It's supposed to empower you to do for yourself what you would otherwise have to get others to do for you. And as you look at the condition of black people all over America, when you are mistreated, you're not in a position to do anything about it. You have to depend on the brother of the one who mistreats you to do something about it. And you don't see nothing wrong with that. I told you to get behind me. And the mistreatment of you will stop. It's just like you notice. I don't run from the devil. If any person want to come in here and take me to task about what I teach, that door is open. If I can't answer questions about what I teach, I have no business teaching it. It's just like the foolish woman that came in here what was that, Wednesday? Raising her voice and going on to me. If they want to do that, I'll let them. I know what the Holy Quran says. I know what Allah going to do to them. I told them this is the wrong time to do that. Your time to disrespect me done came and went. When you do it now, you're going to get the reward of what you did. I don't mean in a minute either. The book says, be not forward in the presence of Allah and his messenger. You see them reporters standing in front of the president. You think these people don't know how they're supposed to conduct themselves? They know. You know what you're supposed to do in a classroom. If you want to talk to the teacher, you say, excuse me, I have a question. Right? You don't just blurt out something. Oh, I can forgive ignorance, but I can't forgive someone knowing that they are being disrespectful. No, I don't forgive you. Ungrateful wretch. So I want all of you to remember ignorance. The root word is ignore. By thinking that you have all of the knowledge that you need to be successful, that's what makes you ignore me. It's just like he gave you Christianity. Christianity ain't nothing. It's a lie. It is a 100% lie. Telling you that you're going to die and get you some heaven after you physically dead. Well, the book says you get no more reward after you dead. It's right there in Ecclesiastes. The 9th chapter. I showed it to you. But that's just go to show you. You don't believe in the Bible. That's the lie you tell, like these people that claim to believe in the Holy Quran. You don't believe in the Holy Quran. That's why you act a fool with me. Talking about they believe in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Lying. They don't believe in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Everyone is a hypocrite. The hypocrites are surely what? Liars. In Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter, and the 5th verse. It says, for the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything. Neither have they any more a reward. Now, what is this you going to get after you die? The death that the scripture was talking about was the mental and spiritual death of you, following the first Adam, the devil, incarnate. Incarnate mean in the flesh. And they was given this dominion. So it is appointed once unto all men to die, because the devil going to be guiding. Then after this is the judgment, comes the truth. The truth has now come, and falsehood must vanish. I said Christianity is a lie. I didn't say the Bible is a lie. Your understanding of it, that's the lie. The church is the main house to get to prepare you for nothing but hell. Misunderstanding is hell to man. If you don't believe it, get rid of all the doctors and then get sick. Then you find out what hell is. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I remember when I broke my hand. It was this one. It was a puzzlement to me. I knew I broke it when I pulled it out. It wasn't broke when the door came on it. It broke when I pulled it out of there. And so I went down there to the place, and I knew what he was going to tell me, that I had broken. I broke my last 2 fingers there. And I thought to myself, so this is what a broken bone feel like. And it was a learning experience for me. It's kind of like things that happen. Excuse me for getting away from the subject a minute. But I always wondered what a lot of things, felt like, what it was, that comes with the territory of who I am. So I've experienced quite a few things, but it makes me understand, and in most cases, more tolerable of people. But the one thing that I just never did like was people who just purposely, without reason, just go around disrespecting people, bullying people. When I was younger, I ain't gonna say I didn't fight a lot, and was pretty hot-headed, quick-tempered. But I didn't just go pick on somebody that I just knew I could Whoop, I wasn't gonna do that. You know, it you know, that wasn't me. I didn't like that. And if I was losing, I didn't want nobody jumping in, you know, because that's part of what. But when we had fights, we fought and we fought fair. If you knock somebody down, you can go over there and stomp them and kick them, do all that kind of thing. You let them get up. These people, they don't even fight no more. They such a coward. He won't fight you. He shoot you. You ain't got no gun. He shoot you. And this is you a bunch of murderers. Bunch of people that have no soul. You know, and it shows women and men. This old crazy woman come in here the other night just hollering and whooping and going on. Just it's crazy. Over a liar. I mean, the last woman had said somebody ought to be on their knees to Donald Trump. She took it back. That Omarosa, you remember her? She come out and told it. He's a racist and he's more than that. You know, I mean, you took you all that time to realize that. Didn't take me all that time. You'd be surprised how people get deaf, dumb, and blind when it comes to money. Give them enough money, they don't see nothing. Don't hear nothing. And don't want to see nothing. Yeah. But I want you to hear the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But first, I want you to hear something that, I was just looking at Rachel Maddow. I think that was last night. And, when they start talking about Joe Biden did a reversal on this government helping people with government funding to help abortions. They didn't want that years back. And I understood what that was about politically. It was about giving people who are against abortions some satisfaction that their tax money that they are paying is not being used in a way that they would not like. But when you're dealing with a country as diverse and where even babies pay taxes, they don't refuse to charge the tax on an item because you sent your child after it. If it's a taxable item, you pay the taxes. So it is only just to respond to people who say they don't want their tax money spent for that. Well, just assume that your part of the taxes ain't being spent for that. But people who want that, their tax money. I mean, the taxes all go into one pot. Don't they have a right to have their tax money used for abortion if that's what they want it for? So you have to look at both sides of it. The main thing that I disagree with, no, I don't believe in abortions. Now let's get that clear. I don't think you should kill your babies because you don't think you can afford children or whatnot. You don't afford children. If Allah give you children, He'll give you the means to feed them. Every father that started out, when he started out, he was unexperienced. That's something that you grow into when it's necessary. Motherhood, the same. You learn some things, you pick up some things if you pretty smart and honor your parents. You pick up some tools from your parents. But sooner or later you're gonna run into something that they didn't have to deal with. Then you have to figure it out. And that's why you call on Allah and you raise them the way Allah said. They may turn out okay. You know, the trouble is you live in a world that you may be teaching one thing in your home, and then when they go out in the world, they learning something else. So it's a tug of war. That's why you have to have gravity. You know, you don't want your children to be pulled away from you by the wickedness in the world. So you have to maintain gravity. When they come around you, they should always know that you are their father, you are their mother. And no matter what they, it's just like me. When I was out in the street, I was just as down with the slang and everything as all the other little brothers. We all was. Amen. We've been saying, what it be like? I'm going on back to the crib now, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll check you later. The little slangs we use. But when I walked in the house, I didn't say I'm at the crib. I said, Daddy, I'm home. Because what? I didn't talk to my daddy like I was talking to the brothers on the street. Because I feared to do that with him. I didn't see him as somebody on the street. I saw him as the authority and the sole authority in that house. And that's the way he raised me. And I'm glad he did. I wasn't glad when I was a child, but when I put away childish thinking, I understood. You cannot expect a girl to understand a woman. You cannot expect a boy to understand a man. That's why the boy needs guidance. The girl needs guidance. And if you know you guiding somebody right, what you care about them getting mad? You tell them you better not show it, and you get your behind on back in there, and then add some more to it. Teach you to call yourself showing me that you don't like what I said. That's how you teach them self-control. You don't want your child growing up wearing their feelings on their sleeve. It's just like people, most people, they, you can't tell how I feel about things just from looking at my actions and my deeds. I learned to control and keep stuff in that needed to be kept in. You see? But my daddy and my mother put that in me. I could stomp my foot sometime, but I might stomp it one time too many, and he said, "Come here, boy, get in there." And I learned when I could stomp it and when I couldn't. Do you understand? So to be on the safe side, I stopped stomping my foot when my daddy told me something. I felt like doing it, but I kept control. Didn't change the expression on my face. And now it takes you a long way in life. It's just like when you're working for somebody, man. You need your job. You better control yourself. Huh? But always remember, don't nobody hire you if they didn't need you. do you understand? And when you do a good job, they don't want to lose you. You see? When I work for somebody, I could always go back. They don't say that old so and so half did so and so. I don't half do nothing. When I get through with it, you ain't gonna find nothing wrong with it. If you do, it's just that the best I could do. I ain't, but for the most part, when I get through with something, it's done right. I just can't live with myself. I can't even cover up something. I have to get it right before I cover it up. It's just you got some people that can't stand to see something, they start counting, and they, I'm like that with work and building stuff and doing stuff. I just can't. If it's crooked, I just can't rest till I get it straight. And that can be a good thing. And because if anything is worth doing, it is true that it's worth doing it right. If it's worth doing at all. So, or any of you all that black or white, it don't make no difference to me. Your color don't mean nothing to me. I'm looking at what's on the inside. And you can't judge no book by its cover, and you can't judge no person by their color. Nope. Oh, if you want to talk to me, I'm available. Now, but I was so glad that before they could blow it up into nothing, into a whole bunch of nothing, the vice president came right back and told him he ain't for that no more. And I was so happy. That showed a lot of statesmanship on his part. He corrected it so fast that it couldn't get no traction. Huh? You know, I mean, see, they want to, you want to, a lot of times people want to paint you just because you're old. And old is a relative term. I hope you know that. I'll show you. Can any of y'all remember when you was in high school? A 12th grader? Now, you weren't but 3 years older than the junior high school girl, but the mama didn't want you talking to him. You too old for her. is that what they was saying? And your the girls know, the sisters know. And mama told them, no, you can't. Well, they had something like right there now, because we didn't. The young man when I was growing up, they weren't talking about thinking about no getting no married. And if somebody was stupid enough to let them, it was gonna be all over the school when he got through bragging about it. And most of them that was bragging hadn't did nothing. That's the truth, But that's the way it goes. That's 3 years. Now, look how much difference that 3 years make when that person is 50 and you 47. Ain't nothing, huh? Oh yeah. So just because you reach your 60s and your 70s and you think that's old, it's old to you. You know how long the Holy Quran said it takes a man to mature? 40 years. He ain't even reach manhood until he get 40. And that's if he pay attention. Because some don't never reach manhood. Well, it's the truth. If you don't believe it, watch how many jokers you got walking around here. Do you know how unmanly it is for you to be walking around with a perpetual joking attitude? Allah didn't create the heavens and the earth for jokes, for joking. You look at those men that's putting rovers on Mars and sending building space stations, putting them out there. Them men ain't standing around joking. They leave that to the slave. Huh? Yeah, let the slave joke. That's his thing. See? So I tell you, I'll laugh and talk with you. But I remember the old man used to tell me, he said, look, young blood, I laugh and talk with you, but I don't play. Well, that was just, I understand that now. Because even when they was laughing and talking, what they were sharing with me was serious and meaningful conversation. Older men just didn't talk to young men to get on the young man's level. He was trying to bring you up to his level. I ain't had no old men. Even winos didn't play around with us. If he said something to us, you can rest assured it was some advice not to be like him or something like that. Get there and get your education, boy. Do something. How come you ain't at school? Catch you out there playing hooky. But it is different times now. In this age of instant information, and it could be instant information of lies or instant information of truth. More lies than truth. And people believe everything that they hear. That's the nature of a young mind, of an immature mind. They believe everything that they see and hear. Even though everybody that live a while remembers things are not always as they seem. You can't always trust your eyes. The eyes can deceive you. I remember the messenger said, I'm supposed to be uh, fashioned, made by Allah to help push you into hell, who reject your own. Meaning, the same way I look at the scriptures and I get guidance from it, the same way I listen to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and I get understanding from him. Other people listen to him and get misled. You know why? Because other people just listen to that one man, while I listen to all of them. And all of them are what's necessary to get the understanding of any one of them. You see? And even though I tell you that, that's not going to help you. You ain't never going to be you're never going to be the head. The head has already been chosen. Your hands and your feet and all of them, they were designated as that from the time that you was conceived. The head that's on your shoulder, that's the head that's going to always be there. The head of every man is Christ. The head of Christ is God. The head of the woman is the man. When you try to get out from around that, you get all messed up. That's why you got women and men don't know their proper roles in society. And the society is degenerating. It's just going down, down, down. A woman think that it's something good for her to be treated equal to how a man is treated. We actually used to make jokes when I was growing up that your mama wear combat boots. That's the last thing you expect to see a woman in is some combat boots. Yeah, look at you. Got your woman out there talking about putting her in a war zone. You won't put no sister of mine in no war zone. No, you will not. Look at all of the women that complain about officers, men in the military raping them and doing all kind of improper things to them. You can expect that when you put a woman where she ain't got no business being. And she's sitting up there because you done messed her up. Now she want to be over there. Next thing you know, she looking at a woman. It's just like a man. I'm not saying that you can't be no doctor or whatnot, but a male nurse, it just don't sound right. Don't you know you take on the characteristics of whatever role you have to be careful what role you let yourself be put in. A man has no business with feminine actions. But the world is upside down and inside out. So I want to help you to correct yourself. But can't do that if you rely on your ignorance, rely on all that knowledge that you got up there that you thought you knew so much. All you had to do was ask yourself, if I know so much, if I've been so highly educated, why my condition don't reflect my great education? Your condition does reflect your education. I remember once I was listening to Minister Farrakhan teach on the word education, and this was back, I think it was back in the 80s, and I got a tape that brothers used to bring me tapes from him all of the time, and he talked about the word education comes from the word educo. And he said words to the effect that it means to bring out of darkness into light. But is that really what was done with us? Were we brought out of darkness into light? Or were we purposely taken out of light into darkness? In our condition, as you look at the condition of the black man and woman in America, where you cannot find not one progressive community of black people in America as a whole, one beautiful place where black people are built up something nice, a subdivision or something for themselves or whatnot. That's not an accident that you can't find that. You can't find that because that's not how we think. And the reason that's not how we think is because the education that we have received came from our enslavers. And he gave us the worst in his storehouse of knowledge. And we act it out every day. You can't do what you can't think. You do what you think. That's how he knows, and any intelligent person knows, that we, the members of the new nation of Islam, have had a new teacher. Because we understand that we cannot call ourselves free when we depend on others for our food, clothes, shelter, education, for our well-being. You're not free until you control those things for yourself. And as Mr. Reagan said a long time ago, when he was justifying what he did, justifying America's support for Israel, for the state of Israel, he said, where there is no land, there can be no freedom. Not one Negro leader did I ever hear go up to him and said, well, you told us you freed us and you didn't give us no land. He knows that we were deaf, dumb, and blind, our leadership, have been. They was just boasting about the NAACP. That was set up by mostly white people. Set that up. Now you see why it's always needed. Anytime you say you are for the advancement of, they haven't even changed this thing. We don't call ourselves colored people no more. You see how outdated it is? But people getting paid to sit there and do that. So long as you getting paid, you don't rock the boat. I remember Dr. Cosby. Dr. Cosby was a lifetime member of the NAACP. Donated to that organization and told them whenever they needed to use his name for anything, they was free to do so. And when he was falsely accused, they didn't step up and speak up for him. They jumped on the bandwagon. Don't worry, I ain't never called on the NAACP. I told white people when I first moved here, I was down there at the country store to pay a bill, and I was in there to pay a bill, and white people stand up at the counter having a conversation. And two ladies, they just a talking. I'm standing there, and the woman behind the counter ain't said a word to me. Didn't say I'll be right with you, and I'm waiting on them to get to. I wasn't going. I'm not rude. So I stood there for about, about 3 to 5 minutes. They're just talking. So I said, "Pardon me," and they stopped. I said, "Look, the only reason I'm in your store is because this is where we have to pay the water bill or whatnot. And if you don't want me in here, all you have to do is tell me. I won't come back in here. I don't believe in going where I ain't wanted. And I ain't going to go beg nobody to try to sue you or nothing." And they said, "Oh, no, it's not like." I said, "Well, I've been standing here all this time. You didn't even look up and speak. I know you saw me." I'm not a person who feel like I need to beg you to take my money. I'm not going to beg you to take my money. I'm not going to beg somebody who hate me to fix me a sandwich. You can't fix me nothing. Not even a drink of water if I watch you draw it from the hydrant. No, sir. I don't want your water. I don't want nothing you got. And you go on and you ain't got to worry about me. I'll go build my own lunch counter. I ain't got to sit up at yours. And you're not going to have no problem out of me when you tell me you don't want me in your store. Matter of fact, you're doing me a favor, because then that make me realize that what I should have been undid a long time ago. Over there begging somebody to feed you they spit and whatever else they want to put in there. Nope. Now I done seen y'all do it. Y'all get mad at somebody and drop the Jimmy Swaggart. He came into the steakhouse and After you remember that thing they caught him with the riding around in the limo with his clothes and stuff out with the woman and stuff. But uh, and he got on television and apologized and all that. But he walked into one of the steakhouses that one of our brothers worked at, and these white people working in there too. They saw him come in there and drop the steak on the floor, and and then put it back on the plate and tried to give it to brother to go out there and serve it. He said, "I'm not going to serve that man that." I guess they were scared he was going to tell on them, so they went on and gave the man a steak that they hadn't did that to. But I don't have to like you to not mistreat you. You can be the worst enemy that I have, but you don't have to fear no harm from me. I ain't gonna do to you what I wouldn't appreciate being done to me. No. Mm-mm. It's like me. I'm not trying to make you think that I've been all my life perfect, because I have not. But there's certain things I ain't never been doing. I ain't never will do. I'm not going to do something like that to anybody. You should have a line you just don't cross. They call the hell the bottomless pit. That's most people don't understand that. You look at what do they call the seed of an avocado? They call it the pit, huh? Your brain is the pit inside of your skull. Is it bottomless? Oh, you know the truth. Every one of you know the truth. Is that what you got up there? A bottomless pit? If that ain't what the majority of the people in this country got, how did Donald Trump get to be president? Where do you draw the line? And I say to the people in the United Kingdom, I'm happy that they are rethinking their decision about Brexit, breaking away from the European Union. That is the stupidest thing that you could do. When you think about the history of England and France and all of them, that when they were not united, Hitler was raising hell over there. It is your union that enabled you to be strong enough to fight off people like Hitler. You gonna throw that away? Okay. No, you. Lions always like to cut out the weakest when you get hungry. If that herd of buffalo or water buffalo, or if they stuck together and formed a perimeter, he'd find him another diet. That lion wouldn't wolves either. They got to divide you and then make you run off and leave the weak ones. What's the quickest way to divide a people? Teach all of them that they're leaders, like y'all do every time you have a graduation. You tell everybody in the audience, you're the future leaders. I'm trying to figure out when you're going to tell somebody who the followers are going to be, since everybody's the future leader. They was telling us stuff like that when I was growing up. Future leaders. When it's all right to tell the true future leaders that that's who they are. I would share this with you. You look at that little brainy brother and sister. You got lots of them in school. You know, you got as many as anybody else. Then when the counselor looks at the grades of that one, said, now look, you will probably, if you work hard or whatnot, you should be one that should be wise enough to lead or help lead the ignorant masses of your people. Now, whatever you suffering at the hands of people right now, learn to think your way out of something. That's what you can do with bullies. You can practice on them. Because one day he gonna need you. He just don't know it. Because his brain just ain't powerful enough to meet the obstacles that the lack of intelligence will not permit him to meet. But you're intelligent, so now you need to practice on how to deal with people like that. Then you get the one who's beating up on people, you pull him to the side. You don't have to get him in front of a crowd and front him off, because he got his ego and he ain't gonna hear you then. But you pull him to the side and tell him, hey, you see that little smart brother there that little smart sister that you there messing over? You should be protecting them. They are your most valuable, some of your most valuable people are these educated ones. And if you befriend them now, when they get in a position and they really mature in their mind, they will be able to defend you with the pen and defend you with intelligence, where you wouldn't have been able to defend yourself. That's the problem now. You got people in Congress that, look at Ted Cruz. You think Ted Cruz was any kind of man, youngster? But boy, wasn't about nothing. I mean, when I say about nothing, I'm talking about he wasn't no in crowd fella. People probably bullied him. That's why he don't care about the masses of the people now, the poor and the people in this country. And people, Mitch McConnell, the same thing. He wasn't no popular fella. You can look at him and tell. And they still got all that baggage that from childhood, where they was bullied and picked on. And Donald Trump, the same thing. Donald Trump ain't never been everything he got was given to him. He didn't work for nothing. Everything he got was given to him. You know why he resented and still resents John McCain even in death? It's because even though John McCain was wealthy, he was not a wallflower or a beggar or someone who just was handed everything. When you put that man's history against Donald Trump looks like nothing. John McCain suffered a lot from war and whatnot. And you notice, because he had experienced suffering, he didn't try to inflict that on other people. If he disagreed with you, he disagreed with you. But he didn't insult you. And he wouldn't help nobody lie on you. Everything that John McCain was that made him a great man is what Donald Trump knew he himself was not. And you know how that goes. The child who had plenty clothes and whatnot, the child who didn't have any, hardly, sometime would make fun of the one who had nice things and whatnot to, try to make him feel bad because he didn't have nothing. You're getting a chance to see the truth about yourselves. We all getting a chance to see the truth about ourselves. You say, we are better than this. Then what is he still doing up there as your president? I didn't hear you. Everybody has acknowledged that he has obstructed justice. The man that's the chief executive officer over the Justice Department, over the military of the United States, is guilty of obstructing that which he is supposed to uphold and be the head of. And you don't know what to do? So you everybody that I've ever seen had a head that matched up with it. Jesus said, if they call the head of the house Beelzebub, how much more would they call them of his household? As I told you, do you know anybody in the Trump administration that don't lie? When they come out and talk to the American people, can you name one of them that don't lie? The only ones that don't lie, they don't send them out there. Because they know they ain't going to get him to lie for them. And he's always looking for somebody to replace him with that will lie. Huh? Just like the lady tried to tell me she's not a liar, but she couldn't say Donald Trump wasn't a liar. So she didn't realize by supporting Donald Trump, you done already confessed that you are a liar. You see, it don't. It's not rocket science. The only people who can support a liar are other liars. So I'm going to play the messenger's tape. First, I'm going to let you hear Rachel.
In terms of what's happening in the Missouri state government, over the course of the past week, the state government has started forcing the last doctors at the last clinic that provides abortion in that state to provide unnecessary vaginal exams to women as a cost of trying to seek an abortion at that clinic. We're reporting up for the first time tonight. We've got a second chapter in our special report coming tomorrow night.
Let me say one more thing about abortions. Look, I'm talking to white people now. If you want your woman to stop having abortions, make her proud of you as a man instead of ashamed of you. Let me tell you something. Walking around talking about you supreme and superior and everything, you want to be held up high while your deeds and your actions are down there in the gutter. For all the world to see. It's just like I was telling the people in the skinheads, the Ku Klux Klan and whatnot. You used to have a shred of justification for wanting to kill black people. And I acknowledge that. Because the way that it was put was that after 6,000 years, black people was going to kill white people. As the book said, whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day shall surely be what? Put to death. So the devil was mad. I don't blame him. I'd have been mad. You make me wicked, and then you tell me that it's okay that I go do this, but after 6,000 years, you're going to just kill all of us? Well, not if I have anything to say about it. Huh? I'm going to do it to you before you do it to me. Huh? But we had to let him think like that. Because if he had known we was just talking about killing the mind that we put in him and giving him a better mind, he wouldn't have did what we needed him to do. We needed him to make us feel threatened. You see, the immune system don't just go into actions on a whim. It goes into action on a real threat. Do you understand? I told you, I wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for slavery. You wouldn't be sitting here listening to the Son of Man talk to you if it had not been for slavery. We had to feel that our existence was threatened. And so we made the devil and this is what Yaqub told his uncle. He said, when I get to be an old man, I'm going to make a people that will rule you. Well, In my childhood, I thought that was talking about Yaqub getting to be, 70 or 80 years old. 70 or 80 years ain't no old man compared to what Methuselah lived. 900 and something years. What is 100 years? The Holy Bible says the child shall die 100 years old. You don't believe that's in it? Find that for me, brother. Got to get my computer back up and running. Then I'll find it for myself. But right now, you say Isaiah chapter 65, verse what? Okay. That the only place it is? I thought sure it was in Psalm. Isaiah, the 65th chapter. It says, there shall be no more there an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old. Now think over that. Huh? A child.
Excuse me, son of man.
Yes.
What verse?
Just told you, verse 20. Yep. So what would Methuselah call you if you was bragging about being 100 years old? I remember when I was talking with my mama, and I was laughing because I went to the airport and I felt, I was always running back and forth to Detroit, catching planes and stuff, and then I'd be back here working. And I just didn't feel like walking one day, and I saw this lady, one of the sky caps. They had a wheelchair there, and I said, and they was pushing elderly people, and I said, boy. I said, look, how old you got to be to get in there? She said, oh, you got to be at least 55. I said, well, then I can get in there. She said, show me your ID. And I showed her my ID. And she put me in the chair, pushed. And I was, she pushed me all the way to the gate. And I tipped her. And I thanked her. And I told my mother when I spoke to her, I said, hey, Ma, I get senior citizens rates around here now. I say I'm a senior citizen. She said, "Oh boy, you ain't nothing but a baby," and it was funny to me that I always considered that to be old until I reached it and found out that it's not. It's just. I didn't feel no different than I've ever felt. I still don't. So I believe these things that the book says. I can see that they would say a child will die 100 years old. Think over that. So what will an old man be? Get back to where Methuselah and them was. Huh? And even more. And it all started with how to eat to live. Look at the words. How to eat to live. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he brought that knowledge and shared it with the world. And so I'm so thankful that I could say that I walk with him. You know, it was how many millions of people was at on them marches with Dr. King? Do you suppose all of them met Dr. King personally? That didn't stop him from walking with him, huh? No, I'd never met the Honorable Elijah Muhammad personally. But I was in the Nation of Islam. I got my ex. And I'm glad I got that ex so I could get the prize. Yeah. You know, Paul talked about the prize. I'll get to that with you in a minute. But let's hear what the should be next president of the United States had to say.
There's one other piece of news on this subject that you should know. One of the things that's been discussed on the 2020 campaign trail over the past few days is the question of the Hyde Amendment, which is a longstanding federal restriction on any federal money, including money spent on Medicaid or Medicare, being used to pay for abortion services for any women who use those as sources of their health care. Well, tonight, Vice President Joe Biden suddenly reversed himself on his position on the Hyde Amendment. This has been discussed intensely over the past few days. Biden said tonight that while he used to support the Hyde Amendment, he no longer does. His campaign had affirmed his support for the Hyde Amendment just this week, just a couple of days ago. But tonight, Biden himself said that he has changed his mind. He specifically cited Republican governors working to close down clinics that offer free or subsidized care. He said that's why he is changing his mind now. I had said last night that I had thought that the vice president's position on the Hyde Amendment would not survive the Democratic primary. I'm not sure I expected that it wouldn't survive 24 hours. But there you go. Lots more.
So I'm glad he nipped that in the bud. So now he can't be clowning about that. And you know, it's a lot of things that we witness in this day and time that the scriptures said would happen. It's like it says, perilous times will come. Well, you in those perilous times now. Children going to school, how can they learn and sitting up there worrying about whether somebody gonna shoot up the class? Simply because these people will not control their guns. They will not regulate their guns. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the state. The right of the people to keep and to bear arms shall not be infringed. But they got to be well-regulated. If you want to know what well-regulated is, when the last time you seen a Marine come home or a soldier or an airman or a sailor come home with his weapon? Did he get on the plane and have his weapon with him? Well-regulated. If you go visit the base, only man you see with weapons is the MPs and the guard duty. Everybody else, their weapon is at the armory. Ain't nobody got no weapon in no wall locker. You won't get drunk and fall out with somebody and tell about you just wait here till I get back to my locker. No, you ain't gonna get drunk and kill nobody, because those weapons are not readily accessible for that kind of act. And I'm gonna tell you something else. What kind of act is it for you to take a weapon, an assault rifle, or any kind of weapon, and go find some babies or go find some people that's dancing at a club or out there riding up and down the freeway or whatever, and for you to go out there and start shooting them. What kind of act is that? A cowardly act. You don't have to tell me how you thinking when you walking around here with that gun. When I was walking around carrying a pistol, it was because I was scared. And a scared man is dangerous. And then the first thing when you say, any so-and-so mess with me, I'm going to blow his so-and-so brains out. There ain't nothing tough about you doing that. If you wasn't scared, you wouldn't have picked up that gun. You know how to remove your fear from guns? Replace it with fear of God. The one who said, thou shalt not kill. If you don't have to say, thou shalt not pick up no gun. If he said, thou shalt not kill. The gun only has one purpose. It is to what? Okay. So if you pick up the gun, you must be planning on killing somebody. I didn't hear you. I ain't planning on killing nobody, so I don't need no gun. Haven't picked up one since I got out the Marine Corps. I seen enough guns in there and worked on enough guns in there. I was an armorer, so I ain't want to see no gun no more. And I didn't know what effect that it had on me seeing dead bodies like I did, but now I know now. And you don't need to. There ain't nothing glorious about killing people. And I ain't never killed nobody, but I seen dead bodies. And even if I didn't do the killing, I was fixing the weapons that was doing it. And you know what happens when you take part in, you have any part in the deed, well, then you just as guilty. Like I said, I ain't in no position to be talking about I won't forgive you. Even when I say I won't forgive you, it's got to be, it's need to be clarified. Certain things I forgive you without you asking. When I say I ain't gonna forgive you, that means I ain't gonna forgive you unless you ask me. Do you understand? What kind of savior would I be if I tried, what kind of lifeguard, because a man swung his arm and hit him, let the man drown? Well, let me get on, I'm drowned in. So, well, you ain't no lifeguard. Because you're supposed to know how to come up on them and grab him and don't get hit. Do you understand? So I'm fussing at the poor little lady, but she knew she was out of order. She knew it by the time. That's why she said, I ain't no liar. In other words, I ain't no liar like him. Well, then why come in here fussing at me? You know Trump is a liar. You know he got no business being president. The people I heard this interview with these people, one of the people in the UK, and they were saying they feel sorry for the people of America because of Donald Trump. And I know what they meant. The last thing they expected was a man like him to become the holder of the most powerful office that this world has ever seen. And he has been He has misrepresented that office something terrible. But I say to the people overseas, you know we sick now. You see how sick we are here. If you can't help us, just leave us alone. You know. And it's stuff happening just like all that flooding going down there in where I was born at. In the Delta. I told you, if Allah didn't do these things, I know you've been scheming about what you're gonna do to me. You ain't gonna do nothing to me. Allah gonna get everything that you plan to try to do against me. Allah gonna let it happen to you. Cause I ain't did nothing to you. And it's nothing that I'm teaching or doing that justifies anybody to be angry with me. I already told you that I don't care what you did in the past. If you just straighten yourself up now, it's forgiven. Didn't I say that? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you that. He said, God, Allah has said that he will not hold us responsible for our past. He said, just go from here. And that's all I have. That's all I have said to any of you. I don't care nothing about what you used to be. I used to be something that I ain't proud of. So what? When everybody guilty, then everybody is justified. When somebody claim they want to help us, everybody's justified to be forgiven. Because if you're going to forgive some and not forgive others, that's not right. Well, is it? Allah forgave me. Because when I was being chastised, I wasn't blaming him. I blamed me. I remember when that tsunami hit. And you remember the first time we heard the term tsunami? It was the first time I heard the term tsunami. When 180,000 people was wiped out on that beach. And a survivor, it was a model. And she had a bathing suit on and whatnot, and it just broke her body up. But she lived. And she just said, thank God that I made it. No blaming God. Because everybody know that what they was doing, God's word said don't. Huh? I mean, it is a wonderful day and time that you living in. That where you thought that there was no hope. Now I'm telling you that that's what I was born for. To give hope to the hopeless. That's what I'm here for. I finally know inside of me what my true purpose in life is. Is to be ashamed to die until I have won a victory for the human family. The greatest victory that we can do for humanity is to help humanity overcome the enemy that all of us been carrying around that we call our mind. Because our mind is the devil. You hear what I said? I said our mind is the devil. And our Lord wanted us to get a taste of being without him, without spiritual enlightenment, just natural enlightenment. How would you like it if the sun wasn't out there and all you had was artificial light? You wouldn't like it too long, because even your artificial light would soon be gone. You know why? Because you'd be froze. You do understand how the sun keeps us warm, right? The sun keeps us warm the same way these heaters in your home work, your central air and your central heat. Your central air conditioner, you notice it's called a conditioner because it's pulling in the air in your room and sending it back out cooler than it was when it came in. And after a while, it cools all the air in the room to a certain temperature, and then it shut off. The air around you is what's made cool and made warm, depending on whether you put it on heat or cooling. If it wasn't for the atmosphere around the earth, we'd be we go out in space, the sun's still shining on you, you be cold as I don't know what. Space is ice cold. Do you understand? So, I'm here to create an atmosphere of brotherly love, of warmth in the cold hearts of human beings. You cannot help a person do better if you won't tell them when they're wrong. Your true friend is the one who tell you when you're wrong, because then you can correct yourself and no one can condemn you. Your enemies are the people who tell you that you're right when you ain't. That's an enemy of yours. That's what the devil said he would do. He would make evil seem okay. Huh? I don't want us to do that. I don't want you, my followers, to do that. I want you to tell one another when something is wrong. Remind each other. Reminding surely profits. Do you understand? I'll try my best to keep you all at peace. I'll try my best to keep you happy, but not lie to you to do so. It's like some of the brothers, they wanted me to keep perpetuating misunderstanding. After I heard the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say that there are white Muslims in America, he didn't say there's a few of them. He said there's lots of them. Now, since when is a Muslim not your brother if you're a Muslim? How does that work? Teach me this, brother, sister, who done fell out with me simply because, I fell out with W.D. Muhammad because he talking about white people could come in the temple and all this kind of stuff. Well, W.D. Muhammad, where he messed up, was that he didn't understand everything that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching. And so he sold himself to the misguided concept of Islam that they have over in the East. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told him, he said that the light of truth that the scientists, the prophets of the East could not bring to you will come from the West.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
You have a statement here from Mr. Simon Jones.
Yes, sir.
And he says, I don't understand how you want to make peace in the world while you still preach the white man is the devil.
That's because you think that that's an insult to white people. But what's his name? Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, I want you to turn with me to the book of 2 Thessalonians. And I would prefer you to just call on in so that you can talk with me. So turn to 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. Now, send him the link, or tell him to send you his phone number, and I will I'll let him talk to me, because that's a legitimate question he asked. And that's the problem with most of us. We don't understand. Because you don't know the truth. Then you think that the truth is an insult. If I was calling white people the devil and that was not the truth, then that's an insult. And you have a right to make me explain myself. But I also have a right to make sure that you are really trying to learn and not just being facetious. And you can show me that you're trying to learn by opening up the scriptures to where I say it to you. Brother Morris, how's your eye, bro? It's getting better. That's right. All of you, when you using power tools to cut lumber and whatnot, put some goggles on. I done had a splinter fly up in my eye and cut my eyeball. You know, I got the splinter out, but when you can tell when you done sliced your cornea, because it feel like something's still in there. And it is annoying, and it can really hurt. So I learned that the hard way. And so if I wasn't going to put on no goggles, and I got a little shortcut to do, I'd look at it and I'd close my eyes and go to cut it. But for the most part, I put me some goggles on. Yeah. Your eyes ain't nothing to play with. All right, bro. So did you send him the number? Is he calling in? See, I want you to understand something. I want you to understand, brother, that the Caucasian, the white man, he knows that even by the way that I've explained what his name means, that this is no joke. Before me, nobody ever told you what the meaning of the name Caucasian is. And I told you it means made Asian. It's just like when you looked at The Godfather and they start talking about the bloodline of the Sicilian. You know, that's the Italian. You know, you notice the seat of the Christian religion is Italy. The Pope of Rome. Rome is in Italy. And so they go way back. And you couldn't become what they call a made man unless you didn't have no mix with you, and you can got your family tree way back. You understand? And so even when they say a made man, well, in other words, he's a Caucasian, a made man, made to do one thing: make mischief and shed blood. That's why when they go and kill and do all of that stuff to people, they say, look, it's not personal. It's just business. What do you mean just business? Your business is the work that you do, ain't it? Just like you say, I got to go take care of some business, meaning you got to go do some work, right? Well, God told the devil, after the devil was made, he said, my Lord, the devil was talking to God. He called God his Lord. He said, my Lord, you have made me a devil, you know. Now I'm going to go out and make evil fast seeming to them on earth and cause all of them to deviate. Except your servants from among them who've been purified by you. And his Lord told him, he said, that's a right way with me. You go and you do that. He said, but as regards to my servants, you don't have any authority over them except such of the deviators who follow you, and I will certainly fill hell with them all. Huh? All right. Now, so that's what he's been doing. He's been making mischief and shedding blood. You know, what is it when he go to somebody's store and tells them, you're gonna need insurance? And he said, no, I'm fine. He said, oh yeah, you're gonna need insurance. Then he tabs something in there. What is he doing? Making mischief, huh? Tell him, now this is what I want you to give me, and then your store will be protected. Huh? So he been making mischief and shedding blood. But the day for him to do that has come to an end. The time for that to end has come and gone now. And so those who try to practice it now, they're losing their minds. That's the death that they are being put to. They're losing their minds. So we want you to know that we are not here to tell you other than the truth. We are here to tell you the truth. Now it's up to you to believe it or not. So I want the man to come in if he was serious about what he asked me. Were you just being facetious?
He said he's unable to call right now, but that he would.
Well, tell him that. I tell you what. Send me your number and I'll call you. That's the way you do that. Just tell him to give you a number and then you bring it up here to me, and I'll call him. You see, don't ever start a conversation with me that you don't have time to have. You see, now that tells me that was a rhetorical question. You wasn't really expecting me to answer it. Well, don't ask me a question that you don't expect me to answer. Because now, how does that make you look? When you ask me a question and then I invite you to discuss the question with me, and then you say you don't have time. Now, how does that make you look, brother? You see what I mean about manhood? You see, I'm not a teacher who has to run from people who question him. And you'll notice something else. What's his name again? Mr. Jones. You notice something else. I don't. I'm not a person who just ignore people if they have something they want to talk to me about, especially if I said something that created a question in their mind. You know, no, I don't do that. I try to show you the same courtesy and respect that I want to be shown. That if you say something or do something that I don't understand, I should have a right to question you about it. Huh? Give me that right. The same right that you want to be afforded. So I'm a. Did he give you his number? Let me let you hear the Honorable Elijah Muhammad a little.
That's what I has been risen up for, to give you the interpretation of your scripture. I know the scripture. We are the people of divine God of truth and justice. You and I are that people. That is his people. He didn't come here to destroy us. He come here to save us from the destruction of our enemy that he's bringing upon them. No, every one of you will be saved if you want to.
I mean, look, who have I said that I won't save? Huh? What did he say? Every one of you will be saved if you want to. Huh? No, nobody is turned down. Look out, Mr. Jones. You worried more about me calling white people devils than they are. The white man ain't got no problem with me calling him the devil. He know that's who he is. You the one don't know. He was made devil by the knowledge that Yaqub put in him. He's called the man of sin, just like this is cup of coffee. You know why I say of coffee? Because that's what's in it. The white man is the man of sin. Look how I'll show you an example. God said, if a man lie with a mankind as he lied with a woman, they both have committed an abomination. The white man say it's okay to do that. God said don't do that. What is sin? Transgressing the commandments of God. God's word says, "O you who believe, avoid games of chance and intoxicants, for they are tools of the devil to create enmity between you." What the devil do? He go build Las Vegas. He go build the gambling boats. He go build all these places where you can have your games of chance. And while you playing the games of chance, he gets you free drinks, intoxicants. And at least they used to have free drinks. I don't know if they do it now. But what'd you say? Okay. So, and he gets you intoxicated and he roll you. He take your money. Well, I'm just telling you. You go to the horse races. He got gambling and all that, and he's the man of sin. Meaning every thought that's in him is sinful. He does things that God said don't do. God told you don't eat no pig, and that's one of the biggest sellers in this country, probably throughout the earth. People eating pig. God said, "You shall not eat their flesh nor touch their dead carcass." He say it's okay. It's cured. Why would you want to eat something that need to be cured? What do you mean? Ask him what you mean. What did you cure it of? I don't know how you cure a piece of boo-boo. I mean, really. A hog, he don't eat nothing but filth. How you gonna clean up filth? You know that sticky stuff that be on the pig foot? We all ate pig foot. I ate some. I used to like that pickle pig foot. That sticky stuff is pig pus. That's what the minister told me a long time ago. He said, "Yeah, that sticky stuff be on it all over you. That's pus." He's a living poison. And a white man teach you it's okay to eat it. He used to throw the chitlins away. And he saw the slave taking it and eating it. Then he started putting it in a bucket and selling it. The Negroes, one of the favorite sayings of the Negro, and white people do it too. I eat that pig from his rooty to his tooty. And if I could catch the grunt, I would eat that too. That's the way they used to talk. So, you know, the white man is the one coined the phrase when he be standing around, "Well, speak of the devil." And he talking about himself. In Batman, what did Bane say? "Speak of the devil and he shall appear." Yeah, when you speak words of the devil, then the devil is appearing in you. Just like when you speak the word of God, God is there with you. So I'm not here to play games with you. You all walk around name calling people and nicknaming folks and running. You don't even know what nickname means. Nickname is another name, the devil name. Old Nick. That's another name for the devil. Look it up. It's in the dictionary. So I'm not the kind of person who make mockery of people. That's why you don't hear no white people saying nothing to me, Mr. Jones, about what I say about them in the way of truth. If it wasn't the truth that they are the devil, then he'd be the first one that be saying he's not, and he'd ask me for that $20,000 that I said I would pay him if he can show that I'm lying. I'll give you that same $20,000 if you can show that that the white man is not the devil. If he's not the devil, then I'm teaching wrong. Now you come and show me that I'm teaching wrong, and open up the scriptures and show me where the devil is. You know, you see, otherwise you need to, just think before you type something to me, because if you're not ready to discuss it, you shouldn't even bother typing it. So did he say anything else? Okay, well, erase what Mr. Jones, you erase what you just typed there until you're ready to come back and discuss it. Now that's the manly thing to do. You see, because you said that to try to teach people that I'm not telling people the truth. And now you not wanting to discuss it with me at this particular time, then just erase what you typed. And then when you're ready to discuss it, then you type it again and we will discuss it. Then you wind up erasing it again anyway. Now don't make us have to erase it. You erase it. We didn't make you put it up there. Is it any white person that think I'm being unjust, that I'm not, I don't know what I'm talking about? Unmute your phone and let's have a discussion. And then you can ask me questions, and then I'll ask you some questions, and we will see if I don't know what I'm talking about. If I don't know what I'm talking about, I need to shut up. Huh? That's generally what you think about somebody who don't know what they're talking about. They need to shut their mouth. And I'm just running off at the mouth when you don't know what you're talking about. Most people that don't know what they're talking about don't want to have no discussion with you. That's the surest way to know that a person knows that they don't know what they're talking about. All you have to do is ask them, let's discuss that. Anything you saying that you know, you don't mind somebody stopping you to discuss it. So you listen to the messenger some more.
He told me to tell you that. Every one of you will be saved if you want to. He told me to tell you that. So if you don't want to be saved, stick around. Just stick around.
You know why he said if you don't want to be saved, just stick around? You know, that word pass is a wondrous word. To pass. It can mean so many things. Just like on the football field, they say, he threw a pass. Huh? If he threw a pass, then pass, the definition of it, still means it left his hand. When someone passes, he leaves this life. Is that right? When someone passes, they leave one grade level and go to the next. Is that right? The messenger said this. He said, we are in a day. He said, you are in a day of learning. As he said, just a few days, my friend, and you will learn that Elijah Muhammad is teaching you the truth. Well, now I'm here teaching you that Elijah Muhammad was teaching you the truth. Huh? We are in a day of what? Learning. If you do not learn, you are what? Left behind. So if you don't want to be saved, just stick around. Just stick around. You know, when somebody don't want to, your friends all graduating, going from the 12th, some of them heading on off to college, and you failed your final exams and you can't graduate with them. You sticking around. You didn't pass. You didn't die to the 12th grade. You have to relive it again. You stuck around while everybody else moved on. They passed on. Die not unless you are one who submits. It's just like people, they come to me and they think they can choose to accept some of what I say and do something else with the rest. If they don't like it, they just don't do it. They just don't say nothing. Whoever comes up with a religion other than Islam, it will not be accepted from him. That is written, right? Anything other than doing everything that I tell you, it's not going to be accepted. He told you that. They told you that. You either come in all the way or not at all. That's why I don't have but a few followers, relatively speaking. And just like when I tell you to not to do something and you go and do it, just remember I told you not to do it. You see? It's, you know, if I give you an instruction, I expect you to follow it. Because you said you are my follower. Or did you think you wasn't going to be tried? Okay. So, did he take it down? You take it down. See, now I understand what kind of man he is. See, it wasn't that he didn't have time to discuss it. He didn't have knowledge to discuss it. He put that up there, not for me, but for other people to read and suggest to the other people that I'm not telling the truth when I say that I'm here to bring people together and save people and be at peace. Do you understand? You see. Now, don't put nothing else up on my broadcasts or videos that you don't want to discuss.
He just typed something else, sir.
What?
He said, I still don't understand all this.
No, I just invited you to come in and discuss it with me. You said you didn't have time, but you still there. Now call in and discuss it with me. Or sit there and be quiet. You see? But you still don't understand. When I offered to give you some understanding, you wouldn't come in here. I told you that's how Donald Trump became president. Man, tell me he don't understand. He don't want to understand. If you ask a person a question and you really want to understand, and they invite you to talk to them, what do? Yeah.
If you would just recognize me for what I am, you will be all right.
The reason he said if you would just recognize him for what he is was because many of you thought that he was the Lamb of God. But he did not tell you he's the Lamb of God in the sense of the Lord, but he told you that wasn't nobody coming behind him but the Lord. The Lord is God. And as he said this Bible don't make him a growed up sheep. He said a little lamb. He said, so I'm very little. He said, I don't know how much is lamb about me. He said, but I know I'm little. All of the messengers of God were lambs to begin with. David can, on the one hand, say, we are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Well, if they were the sheep, then when they humbled themselves as little children, they were God's lambs. Do you understand? Okay. But a lamb is a baby sheep. It's the offspring of a sheep. Is that right? Well, I'm the offspring of those men. I'm the son of man, of those men that God created, both the natural and the spiritual mind. I am the product of both of them. So I'm called son of man. Do you understand? And that's why I'm called the lamb. You see? And the lamb is the king of kings. David was a king, Solomon was a king, and they was prophets. And they were equal. All of the prophets are equal. So if one prophet is a king, what is all of them? Okay. Well, I'm the king of those kings. Do you understand? And so this is as the messenger said, if you would just accept me for what I am, you would be all right. Huh? Because he was what? He was the messenger that prepared the way for the Lord himself. And that's exactly what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did. He prepared a religion that I could accept. I never accepted the religions of this world. My mother tried to indoctrinate me into Christianity, and I just wouldn't do it because it didn't make sense to me. No, I cannot help you lie. How in the world can I get somebody else to believe something that I don't believe? I can't do that. In order to do that, you got to be a liar. And if you ask anybody that know me from the time I was little, the one thing they can't accuse me of is being a liar. Nope. I just For the most of my life, I've been truthful about what I say I believe, or what I say I did or I didn't do or whatnot. I was truthful in that. So now I want you to tell me, all of you, tell me what fault you find. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he was trying to wake you up to the fact that someone was coming after him. So listen.
Out because the white man don't like Elijah. If he don't like Elijah, let him try and run him out of here.
Now, when have you heard any so-called Negro talk like that? When you try to do anything to somebody who God is with in this day and time, you signing your own death warrant. A lot of these around here found that out, thinking they was going to do me some harm. You ain't going to do nothing to me. You'll do it to yourself. Or you will sit and watch Allah destroy you and miserably destroy you. Just one calamity after another will hit you. If that ain't so, how come ain't nobody telling me and bragging about what they done to me? Them who tried that didn't brag for long. I remember that boy, infidel guy. He invited me on and then disrespected me, asked me questions, and while I'm answering, you know, I honestly didn't hear him trying to ask me nothing else. I was busy answering the question he asked me. And instead of him waiting and getting the answer, then he started accusing me of something that I wasn't guilty of. And then he tried to get the people to cuss me out. But nobody did it. And he invited me back on. I don't have that one. But after he invited me back on and we had another discussion, he wound up going off the air because he had no business disrespecting me and inviting others to do so. Claiming he's an atheist. I already know there's no such thing as an atheist. A person who says that, they obviously don't know what an atheist is. You know, otherwise he would not declare himself to be an atheist because it's impossible to be that. There's no such thing as a person that does not believe in truth. You can't live on this planet and don't believe in the truth. The truth is God.
You say we can do it. What we? Do you not think that Allah did not give me power over we? You may get up and go at this. I am the man that your Bible teaches you that is on the right hand of God or the second. in the truth. I am the second of the two.
It's time that I show you this. So if you turn to 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. All of the messengers of God, the angels of God, were the right hand of God. This is in Matthew. Let's go to Matthew first, the 25th chapter. In the 25th chapter of Matthew, in the 31st verse, it says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, meaning in his temple, when the truth of the Holy Scriptures comes to you in a man or vessel made to house the truth, then the truth is in the brain that was formed to receive it. Do you understand? It's just like, you remember when General Motors got in trouble for putting a Chevy engine in the Seville Cadillac when it first came out? Well, they put a Chevy motor in the Seville, and somebody found out, and they got in trouble for it. And so they had to go back and design a motor for the Seville that a motor for the Seville that was specifically for that car. Do you understand? Well, likewise, you notice the Holy Scripture and the teachings of that there's only one God. That's a new teaching. Most people don't know that. We didn't always have one God. You look at the history of Egyptians, and you'll find that they had Imhotep, Amun-Ra, Ra, many. We had 12. In the 12th chapter of Revelation, they teach you that I beheld a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and on her head, at the head of her, a crown of 12 stars. You see, and that is what we had. And so by having 12, then when you came here to North America and you found a Native American, he didn't have no one God. He had a totem pole, and it had the God of the wind, the God of the water, and the God of this and God of that, right? Okay. But the prophets were teaching one God. But it passed, as these scriptures here, the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran, the oldest part of it is approximately 4,000 years old. And that's no time at all. And so it's new wine. You know what happens to grapes? When you let the juice sit up long enough, it becomes fermented. Is that right? And so new wine must be put in new wine bottles. Now, as this is a new teaching, so God took Abraham's seed and put Abraham's seed into bondage, as he told Abraham that he would make his seed as the stars of heaven, as the dust of the earth, as the sand of the sea. Well, when you reduce something down to dust, you reduce it to its lowest and simplest terms. Just like if you let this building fall down, and just let it sit and sit and sit and sit, what will eventually happen? It will turn to dust. Okay. The Caucasian reduced the black man that he took from Africa and Eastern lands, brought us here, and reduced us to dust. And so Allah said he was going to create a man from sounding clay through, that's what the prophets were, sounding clay. And literally, this book here, if you let this book, the Bible and the Holy Quran, if you leave it alone long enough, it will become dust. Because it's wood. That's all paper is wood. Is that right? Wouldn't take it long to become dust either. Right? But as it is recited, then it was made to be sounded out. That's what they tell you about words. You sound them out. Is that right? Compound words. You have this sound and that sound. The A is the ah sound. Huh? And E is the E sound. You know. And so sounding clay. And of black mud. What is mud? Dust mixed with water. Right? Okay. The what was I? Well, it's the same thing as other people, other of my people here. You just scoop a little handful of mud out of a whole bunch of mud. You get a handful of it. And you make you something out of it. You sculpt something from it. Well, Allah took me out of my people, out of the gene pool of black people here in America. And I was already fashioned into the shape of a servant, you know, where most people, they don't enjoy serving other people. I come from a nation that wasn't interested in nothing but just working for other people. That's all we was interested in now. That's why we've been here for 400 years, even after we said we was free. We still ain't tried to go nowhere. Because we are natural servants. And so Allah took one of us. That's me. And he fashioned, you know, he created a mind in me from this new wine. The new wine needed to be placed in new wine bottles. Where you find any people on the earth called Negro other than in America? We are totally new people. Other people don't understand us. I mean, other people would be ready, just like white people, they would be ready to get some revenge on us. You remember in Django Unchained, when that young man Show played that part on what's his name? The white what? Leonardo DiCaprio. You remember when he was standing up there saying, you know, now this old Ben here. Now old Ben, he served my granddaddy and my daddy and his daddy. And he stood up out there and shaved them. And I always wondered, because if it had been me, I'd have cut my daddy's so-and-so throat. They said, but old Ben, he didn't do that. You know, I mean, he talked about how he couldn't figure how in the world could somebody be treated like we was treated and not want some revenge on people. That's because we accept what God's will is. Once we find out that Allah wants us to do a thing, it's like Abraham. How many of you think a white man would have listened to God tell him to go kill his son? No. He said, oh, I thought you was God. If you was God, you wouldn't. if that's where you messed up. In order to come to God, you must first believe that he is God. And if you don't believe that he is God, ain't nothing he can do for you. Nothing he will do for you. But let you see what it's like to be without him. Which is the worst thing he could ever do to you, is turn his back on you. Because the evil that comes to you is going to be from your own mind. That's why I say the devil is the enemy to man. The devil ain't the enemy to God. The devil is the enemy to the one who's foolish enough to let the devil rule in his brain. And that's all of you. And I'm the only one that can cast him out. And so the scripture says, let's get back to the scripture, as I could teach on that. You know, I got kind of sidetracked there, but I want to get back to this. It says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, in the vessel, the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran is the Son of Man. Just like the medical books, all of them collectively, that's the doctor. But it have to be put in flesh in order to manifest itself. Huh? Well, the word has now been put in flesh. Son of man, take the book and eat it up. Huh? Okay. Then it says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations. Like now on the internet, all nations are gathered before me on the World Wide Web, all nations. And then it says, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats. How do I separate them one from another? I teach the truth, and the truth separates them. As I rightly divide the word of truth, then all of those who are hungry and thirsty for that word, they gravitate to that. Those who want to keep the status quo and all of the wicked religions that they have, they shy away from me. They are being separated. And then it says, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his what? Right hand, but the goats on the left. The natural mind is the goat. The spiritual mind is the sheep. What did the messenger say? He said, what did the messenger say? He said, I am the right hand of God. Is that what he said? Listen.
Go ahead, yes. I am the man that your Bible teaches you that is on the right hand of God, or the second in the two. I am the second of the two.
Now remember, the Holy Quran says that we believe in all of the prophets, and we make no distinction between any of them. Well, if we make no distinction between any of them, then what's true for one is true for how many? Well, if the messenger was the second, well, what was Jesus? What was Moses? David? Solomon? Muhammad? Isaiah? Jeremiah? Hosea? Amos? Paul? All of them were the second. Well, the second what? Turn to 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. And this is the 45th verse. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. Howbeit, that was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and afterward that which is spiritual. The first man is of the earth, earthy. The what? The second man is the Lord from heaven. He's the second of the two. Do you understand? And so all of them were lords from heaven. That's why the only one who could understand them had to be caught up to heaven. That's me. You see? And so because the mind that's in me came from heaven, do you notice? How did it get in me? I was told to eat it up and then speak with the words. I had already ate up the natural knowledge that the white man, you notice I paid attention in class. Even though I didn't like school, I paid attention. I didn't like church, but I paid attention to the Bible. I just didn't pay attention to the preachers and all of them people standing up there to call themselves teaching the Bible, because what they said didn't hold my attention. The reason it didn't hold my attention is because I wasn't put here to be their student. I was put here to be God's student. So I couldn't hear them even if I wanted to. They didn't have nothing that attracted me. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad had something that attracted me. And I couldn't stop listening to him. And I listened to him through other people. But it was him. As he told the preachers, it's just like your daddy. Your daddy ain't the one that goes up in there and puts you in that womb of your mother. Your daddy releases that which will put you in the womb of your mother. Huh? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he was looking for me. Because even though many were being taught by him, you saw what happened when he taught Malcolm so much. All of them got big-headed. Next thing you know, they thinking they need to push him out the way and take over. Huh? It's just the opposite with me. The more he taught me, the more humble I got to him and the more satisfied I was just to follow him. That's why he knew that, as he said, if I go not away, the Comforter will not come. He ain't never going to stop following me unless I go. You know, you notice with the mother bear, the cub is used to her leaving him in a high place up in the tree or whatever, and she go away and come back. Huh? One day, she don't come back. And he realizes that he on his own. Huh? And he come on down and then start making his own way. Do you understand? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad knew that after he passed, that it would take me a while to realize what was going on. But he knew that he had left me just enough to go on and do what I was born for. Do you understand? And he left me all the tools that I would need. You see? And so I'm now where I thought that they had left me alone. I've realized that I ain't never alone. They here with me right now. All of them. You see? So I'm thankful for that. You know, they right here in my brain. I have conversations with them all day, every day. The knowledge that they left, just steadily interacting like the atoms in the sun, the molecular structure of the sun, which is the atomic structure of the sun. The atoms just constantly interacting with each other and just steadily reacting and giving off light and heat. And that's the way the messengers of God do in my brain. Their knowledge interacts with each other. It's just like I just showed you the second. You'd never knew that if I hadn't shared it with you. Okay? The messenger told me that I would find what he was teaching in the scripture, the truth of it. As he said, he's the second of the two. Is that right? He's the Lord from heaven. All of the messengers of God were the truth from heaven, the heavenly truth. As Jesus said, if I have told you earthly things and you have not believed, how shall you believe if I tell you of heavenly things? Huh? You see? So it's all here. So I want you to learn. It's almost 11 o'clock here.
So you have a comment
Yes.
from Marilyn McCord. She says he needs to stop lying. God sees and hears this garbage.
Look. People like that. Didn't I just say the truth separates? You notice all of them come in here trying to pass judgment on me and getting judged. What have I been doing all night? Reading from scripture. Was anything she said in scripture? You see, but that's a lover of the evil of this world that the devil has gained mastery over. She ain't hungry and thirsty for righteousness. And therefore, she can ask her, who is the God that you're talking about? You ask the average one of these people who are always invoking the title God. And well, who is God you talking about? They'll do just like Geno Jennings. God is God. Well, that's what I'm asking you. Who is he? Then they won't know what you mean. Well, I'm trying to find out what you mean when you say God. I mean, if you say God is hearing it, read what she said.
She said he needs to stop lying. God sees and hears this garbage.
Okay.
You know,
If God sees and hears, then God has eyes and ears. So where is God? Who is he? Miss Know-all. Who is God? Where is he? And if he's a he is a singular term. Now you get nothing but more insults. If she really thought I was lying, why ain't she asking me for $20,000 after proving that I'm lying? Huh? All you have to do is come in and prove I'm lying by telling the truth. Then you get nothing. That's the book called her a silly woman. That of these sort of they that creep into houses and lead captive silly women. Yeah. There you go. You see? And I tell you something else. Isn't it amazing that people say that I'm such a liar, but they're always sitting down listening to me? I called Donald Trump a liar, and do you ever see me sitting down listening at him? The minute I came to the conclusion that he's a liar, I'm through listening to him. Because I'm not interested in just listening to someone that's perpetually lying to me. They start talking about he giving Donald Trump, the president, is giving an address. Oh, well, no, I ain't interested in that. The man is a liar. Listen to him what? For what? No, I'm not interested in that. Can't believe nothing he tell you. So I'm just curious as to why these people who think I'm such a liar, what they keep listening to me for. That wasn't put in there for me. That was put in there for somebody to go there and read and run with it. Now erase it. Do you understand? You notice ain't nobody saying I'm erasing stuff because I don't want nobody to hear nothing bad about me. I don't care about you hearing nothing bad about me as long as the person who's saying it is willing to face me. So that you can listen to them and me and make a judgment about which one of us you can believe. Huh? But slanderers, or I should say libelous people, people is libelous. When you write something that ain't true about someone, that's called libel. Who is that unmuted their phone? Oh, that was them closing out at the station. But like I said, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid to have conversations with people. You know why they don't want to talk to me? It's because they go away feeling guilty. Not just feeling guilty. When they talk to me and reject me, they are guilty. Because when you accuse a person of anything, and then they prove to you that your accusation is false, then that accusation they made of you reverts back to them. And most people who lie, the way they get their lie is they project themselves onto you. Do you understand? Anytime someone accuses you of lying without saying what the lie was that you told, it is them projecting their own wicked heart and trying to make you guilty of what they really are guilty of. That's why the book says that the Lord shall have no joy in their young men, neither shall he have mercy on their fatherless and widows, for every one of them is a hypocrite and an evildoer. And every mouth speaks folly. And for all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. I have to offer salvation to them. If I'm offering salvation to the to the devil, who misled them, then I have to do the same to those who were misled. So, I'm like the messenger told you. He told you, he said that you all will be saved if you want to. But if you don't want to be, he said, well, just don't learn. Just stick around. Don't let the Son of Man teach you. So later on, you're going to wish you had let me teach you. So the white man, he let them do all of the insulting and whatnot. He ain't say nothing. He's just happy that it ain't on him no more. You see? So you go on and keep on being hard-headed. You get what you got coming out the while. Everybody gonna get what they chose. You choose damnation over salvation. That's you. That's your choice. I didn't force you into nothing. I offered you the truth. I stood here and told you you can argue with me and test, what the truth that I'm speaking. I told you, come on in, put forth whatever you think you have. And if all you could do is make accusations, yeah, that's what you did to Jesus. They found two false accusers, didn't they? They found accusers to accuse messengers of things that they were not guilty of. Huh? Yeah. What you find now? Accusers. Accuse me of lying, and yet when I ask them, what lie did I tell? Nothing. Which makes them the what? There you go. So the book says, thou shalt not bear false witness against those who are kind to you. That's what your neighbor is. Someone who has been kind to you. Anyway, may Allah bless us all who hunger and thirst for his righteousness. May he bless us all and keep us safe and in our right minds. May Allah's salam alaikum.
This session is no longer being recorded.